Former government scientist has alleged that the U.S. military is flying recovered UFOs at a secret base in the Nevada desert.
The subject of aliens, UFOs, or extraterrestrial beings is a touchy one. Perhaps that is why many authorities, including the U.S. government, always make efforts to hide all evidence or facts related to incidents around these issues.
That our government has lied about UFO information, that it's withheld UFO files, and even spied on UFO witnesses.
However, some other scientists strongly affirm the existence of aliens. So, who should we listen to?
Should you believe what these naval officers and this former intelligence officer have said under oath? Or should you believe what the government of the United States has actually been saying?
In addition, many theories suggest that the U.S. government has taken actions to keep scientists quiet every time they want to reveal something. Is this true? If you are familiar with aliens and UFO circles, you may have come across the name Bob Lazar. Some regard him as a controversial figure, yet many of his claims have been confirmed, even years after he made them. This is a man who predicted the presence of an element on the periodic table before it was discovered. Not only was it discovered, but its qualities matched exactly. Bob Lazar was born in 1959 in Coral Gables, Florida. He grew up in Southern California and attended Pierce Junior College and California State University, Northridge, where he studied electronics. In 1982, Lazar was hired by EG&G to work in S4, a highly secret site near Area 51 in Nevada. S4 is reported to be involved in the testing and development of advanced spacecraft and weapon systems. Of course, no formal confirmation has been provided. Working on a top-secret project that entailed analyzing alien technology was one of Lazar's professional highlights. Lazar worked on 9 extraterrestrial flying saucers. These saucers were held in hangars dug into the side of a mountain, and he could share this because he had security clearance to work on them. Lazar claims to have been a member of a team of scientists and engineers seeking to reverse engineer the technology in order to understand how it worked and how it could be recreated. While Lazar's personal life leaves much to be desired, his successes cannot be overlooked. Interestingly, one of his key discoveries has gotten him in hot water with the authorities, who appear to prefer that certain things remain concealed. In this determination attempt to keep things as they are, Lazar's company and house would be raided. On May 24, 1989, during a live interview with investigative reporter George Knapp on KLS Las Vegas, Lazar took the initial steps towards becoming one of the most influential individuals in UFO legend, posing his identity and going by the alias Dennis. But it's worth noting, EG&G, which is where Lazar says he was interviewed for the job at S4, also has no records. It's as if someone has made him disappear.
It's as if someone has made him disappear.
Well, they're trying to make me a non-person. Well, the schools that I went to, the hospital that I was born at, past job, and essentially nothing comes up with my name in it.
According to Lazar, his employer was the United States Navy. He says he and other government employees would gather near EG&G, take a flight to Groom Lake, and then a few people would get into a bus with blackout windows or no windows at all and drive to S4. When you get off the bus, what do you see? The question was asked. A very interesting building. It's got a slope of approximately 30 degrees, which are hangar doors, and it has textured paint on it, but it looks like sand. It's made to look like the side of a mountain, and whether it's to disguise it from satellite photographs or what, he says, he was never told exactly what he'd be working on either, but he figured it had something to do with advanced propulsion. On his first day of work, Lazar was told to read a series of briefings and immediately realized how advanced the propulsion was. The power source, he learned, is an antimatter reactor.
The power source is an antimatter reactor. They run gravity amplifiers.
There's actually 2 parts to the drive mechanism. It's just a bizarre technology. There's no physical hookup between any of the systems in there. They use gravity as a wave using waveguides, almost like microwaves. It took a while, Lazar says, before he actually saw one of the flying discs. However, there were hints everywhere, right? They had a poster, and it looked like a commercial poster, almost like it was lithographed, and you could buy it at Kmart or something. But they were all over the place, and it had the disc that he coined the term of the sport model that was lifted off the ground about 3 feet at areas 4 on the dry lake there, and the caption on the bottom said, "They're here," and those are just all over the place. Later, he got to see the real thing.
I was told they could have walked me in the front door, but they purposely wanted to walk me by it. I was told not to say anything and just keep my eyes forward and walk past the disc.
Lazar stated months later, no longer protecting his identity, that the U.S. government had begun an all-out secret battle against him. He claimed they broke one of his tires and cast doubt on his entire academic record at Caltech and MIT. Lazar later claimed that his role at Area 51 was to reverse engineer Element 115, an alien element that he claimed was utilized to power an alien spacecraft. Lazar has often implied that he obtained a fragment of Element 115 from Area 51 and that the U.S. government is particularly interested in this element. In the years following his first appearance, Lazar primarily returned to private life, eventually opening a scientific supply and equipment store with outlets in New Mexico and Michigan. Interestingly, Lazar's company was raided by the FBI and local police while they were filming a documentary about Lazar's life. Some people believe the FBI is attempting to recover samples of Element 115 that Lazar took from Area 51. It was an open secret that Lazar was under government surveillance, and this was the latest in the decades-long harassment campaign against him. At first, Lazar said he didn't even suspect anything about his job, but day by day, some things started not to add up. He realized he had been working on alien stuff. Lazar also described his very first communication with the reactor, which generated its own gravitational field and powered the spacecraft. Despite being the size of a basketball on a metal plate, he said the contraption looked out of this planet. When Lazar tried to touch the gadget, he said it pushed his hands away like 2 poles of a magnet with the same polarity. The more he tried to pull his hands closer, the further away it was pushed. Lazar was reminded of the briefing he had read about and the project he had been assigned to work on. The job description was to try to reverse engineer this alien development, which included growing the technology with the materials that were available at the time. To keep Lazar and his colleagues in the dark about what they were working on, the bosses compartmentalized everything, meaning Lazar was only working on a tiny bit of the whole thing. Without the whole picture, it was hard to know exactly what was going on. Lazar and his partner ended up with the power and propulsion system. In addition to a fuzzy overview of what the other teams had been tasked with, but every detail was linked to the mysterious spacecraft, Lazar stated that the reactor could work automatically, sensing whether or not there is a load. If there is no load, the reactor shuts down. Lazar described the reactor's sophistication by stating that there were no wires going around inside connecting the various components. The entire thing appeared to work by magic. He also suggested that the person he replaced at work had been in a tragic accident, possibly resulting in the employee's death. However, he was never given the full circumstances, and not even his partner would bring up the matter. Recently, not that long ago, a discovery was made regarding an intriguing device, a device in 1989 that was a hand-measured reader, used to determine bone density and confirm people's identity. These findings align with Lazar's descriptions and offer further validation to his credentials, as he says it himself, quote, "He never thought he'd see one again." And you can't help but see the joy and relief on his face, as if to say, "I told you so." The hand measurement reader that Lazar described is a fascinating piece of technology. Consisting of a metal plate with pins that fit between the fingers, it delivers precise measurements of an individual's hand. The device uses light to gauge bone density accurately, providing valuable information for identifying people, which then must check the image against a record of people. That type of technology is only just coming out now, so to see it in operation in 1989 means a few things, and the first thing, chief among them, is technology is far ahead secretly than it is publicly. With the discovery of information regarding the 1989 hand measurement and bone reader, Lazar's credibility receives another boost. The mere existence of such a device aligns precisely with Lazar's descriptions of the advanced technology he encountered during his time at Area 51 and S4. Skeptics and critics must now contend with this compelling evidence that further supports Lazar's many claims. The findings further thicken the stories or theories that Bob has posited. Bob Lazar's intriguing narrative has once again taken center stage with the revelation of the late 1980s hand and bone measurement reader at Area 51, Nellis AFB, and probably other places that had top security technology too. The discovery of this advanced device provides an undeniable link to Lazar's claims and challenges skeptics to reconsider their stance. The latest revelation deepens the mysteries surrounding Area 51 and the secrets it may hold. As we delve further into the enigma, it is vital to approach the debate with an open mind and carefully scrutinize the evidence as we strive to uncover the truth behind Bob Lazar's extraordinary story. Lazar, on the other hand, believed that the accident was related to the work they were performing and must be occurred as they experimented with the reactor. Meanwhile, the reactor was not the only one accessible, despite the fact that Lazar was only permitted to operate on one. Lazar claimed to have seen 9 disc-shaped spaceships in discrete storage. He noticed that while they were around the same size, about 52 feet in diameter and formed like a flat disc, they all looked distinct. So, how did Lazar's life change as a result of meeting something from another world? It was exhilarating, according to Lazar, especially for a scientist in his 20s. This was the only time it became exciting. The rest of the time, though, it was a very dark feeling to be at work. But it was exciting at the time. I mean, I knew we were on the absolute, even beyond the cutting edge of science, and I was so excited to be there every single time I was there, he said. The enthusiasm immediately faded, though, and was replaced by worry due to the enormous power of the reactor that they were dealing with. It was frightening that such a small rocket could produce so much gravity force, Lazar said, and it was risky because many of the things they were dabbling in were entirely unknown. But when and how were such weapons obtained? Lazar stated that the information was well guarded and was not disclosed to any of them, despite the fact that they were working on these devices every day. And as Lazar described, it was bizarre that they merely had to reverse engineer the reactor without knowing when it was received. The limited paperwork, on the other hand, explains where these machines came from. They arrived from Zeta Reticule star system, dubbed ZR3. They tracked these beings down to the third planet in the star system, according to Lazar. There was nothing else, nothing about how the machines were procured. Zeta Reticuli is a binary star system seen in the night sky and the southern hemisphere in the constellation Reticulum. If viewed in sufficient dark skies, Zeta Reticuli can be seen clearly as a double star. The two stars, Zeta 1 Reticuli and Zeta 2 Reticuli, are approximately 39 light-years apart and at least 3,750 astronomical units apart. The average distance between the Earth and the Sun is 1 AU. The stars have been estimated to be between 1.5 to 3 billion years old and have orbited a shared center of gravity for more than 170,000 Earth years. However, what makes these stars so intriguing is that they are quite similar to our Sun, making them so-called solar analogs, and of interest to astronomers who can compare them to our solar system's host star. UFO enthusiasts recognize Zeta Reticuli as the home of a species of alien life forms that abducted a married couple named Betty and Barney Hill in the 1960s. Betty eventually produced an astronomical chart based on what she claimed to have seen aboard the spacecraft, which has become known as the Betty Hill star map. Some think it demonstrates that the aliens in issue hailed from Zeta Reticuli star system. So, did the authorities know where these objects came from? Lazar said they never revealed it. The light appeared at about this height and hovered softly. It moved to the right and left before settling back down, according to Lazar. Gravity bent light around the spaceship. The handlers were able to interact with the pilot inside, which surprised him because gravity bends light, engulfing the vessel in a way that distorts all kinds of energy. However, communication with the astronauts on board the craft was possible because the technology that Lazar claimed he was unaware of. Surprisingly, Lazar revealed that the craft's test flights were conducted on Wednesdays. Statistically, it was the day when the roadway near the facility had the least traffic, lowering the likelihood of unauthorized persons becoming aware of what was going on. However, some persons who were not working at Area 51 witnessed the tests of these alien craft. This was an interesting side note to Lazar's account. Lazar believes that aliens who brought the spaceship may have advanced technology at a different rate than humans. He believes the aliens at Reticuli may have begun making technological advances utilizing the powerful element 115 as fuel. It is not impossible for them to accomplish a progression rate that we humans can only dream of, starting with such a potent fuel. Lazar also claims that technology will merge with people at some time, and that it is already occurring. Well, Elon Musk is determined to make that happen, and his business Neuralink may begin human trials of his brain implant chip this year after testing it successfully on animals. The impact of such a monumental event would reverberate through the very fabric of our society. Scientifically, it would mark an unprecedented leap forward, a quantum leap in our understanding of the universe's secrets. The exchange of knowledge and technology between Earth and these cosmic travelers could propel us into an era of scientific discovery that once existed solely in our wildest dreams. Yet, this newfound knowledge brings with it profound ethical dilemmas. We must grapple with the responsibilities of wielding this newfound power responsibly. Questions of security, secrecy, and global cooperation will weigh heavily on our shoulders. How do we ensure the preservation of peace and the avoidance of conflicts in this new interstellar landscape? Another witness also said that the U.S. government is trying hard to hide the existence of UAP, aka UFOs. During UAP hearings, David Grush worked at the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO, and the U.S. National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. He claimed he was told of the existence of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, and was denied access to it, prompting him to file the whistleblower complaint. Grush, who served as a member of the Pentagon's short-lived UAP task force from 2019 to 2021, told the committee that his whistleblower complaint is based on, quote, information I've been given by individuals with a long-standing track record of legitimacy and service to this country, many of whom have also shared compelling evidence in the form of photography, official documentation, and classified oral testimony to myself and many of my various colleagues, end quote. Grush says there existed programs in the advanced tech space that are unsanctioned and are outside congressional oversight. Grush also asserted that there was an active disinformation campaign by the U.S. government to deny the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP. According to Bob's clarification, aliens may have visited Earth in the past. Who knows? Maybe they're on their way back to us. Nobody knows this ahead of time. If the government is unable to conceal the arrival of aliens, it implies that humans must be well prepared to welcome their return, as well as the problems that may face the world. Culturally, an alien visit would shatter the boundaries of our beliefs and alter the course of our history. The myths and legends that have guided us for centuries would be tested and possibly rewritten. The impact of our collective psyche cannot be underestimated. How do we reconcile our diverse cultural identities with the arrival of beings who may challenge the very foundation of our existence? Ethically, we must navigate uncharted waters. The treatment of our cosmic visitors and the moral obligations we owe them will become paramount. Their potential vulnerability or superiority raises questions of ethics, empathy, and responsibility. How do we extend our principles of fairness and cooperation to beings whose capabilities far exceed our own? They're coming, and the question remains, are we as a species truly ready for an alien visit that could redefine our existence in ways we can scarcely imagine? Please leave comments to tell us your ideas. Because this is an issue with many mysteries and controversies, we look forward to receiving your views. Stay tuned, and see you